You get a piece of paper, you get a pen, and you write down all the things that you hate about yourself, all those negative things that you're constantly thinking. I am so ugly. No one loves me. I am this, I am this, I am this. And you use your cerebellum, your physical muscle motor movement, to bring all of that darkness into the light. And how hysterical is it that we think these things about ourselves? We think that we're unlovable and not beautiful. And when you go outside and you look at all this beautiful environment around you, all the trees, all the birds, all the squirrels, there's a reflection of you. That beauty is written into the DNA. This beautiful, gorgeous. Look, I printed this picture out the other day. This is a bacterial cell, a single cell bacteria. We have trillions of these just in our gut. And the world survives on bacterial cells, single cell. And then this is our cells, multicellular organisms, because we're beautiful, so complex, healing. And they say like mitochondria was a single cell that hopped into this multicellular organism that was working kind of okay, but then it was like, bro, I really want to ramp up this energy. I want to make some ATP for you. Would you let me live inside of here so I could do this energy exchange for you? And then boom, that's what they think happened. That's what Nick Lane talks about in his book Oxygen. Because mitochondria, they help us to work with the outside world. They meet oxygen. They meet nature halfway. And then there's that other inefficient process that we use called glycolysis. It's a fermentation process of energy creation in the middle of the cell. So this is the mitochondria. And then this is the middle of the cell where we do another process called glycolysis. It's very inefficient energy production. We get like 32 ATP dollars from the mitochondria, and then that other version of energy production, only two. Fascinating though, a lot of cancer cells will turn on that inefficient pathway. And you know what this just reminded me of though? It reminds me of how we always, like, our brains. I just finished this book today. It was so good. Why materialism is baloney. It's not about material things. I'm going to get to it in a second. But we take the hard route. Like, we want to lose weight instead of gaining muscle. And then we have this idea about what that has to look like to get there. So you take the inefficient pathway. We start doing all this other stuff. Take this supplement, go to the gym, wake up early, do all this. I'm going to take a supplement for a supplement for a supplement. No different than Big Pharma. All of this expended energy for such a small return when things could be easy. Like, you could take your feeding window and crunch that baby up, like not even cut your calories in a day, but you can become conscious aware of what times that you're eating in. Changes your whole biochemistry. You're not changing your calories, you're just changing and scooting that window a little bit tighter, giving the body more time to cleanse and rest and repair, and working smarter, not harder, going into the sunlight, embracing the light, breathing, using the breath, using meditation, instead of taking the pathway of like the most resistance. And like, you get some results. I've been there. You know, you work so hard. You start working out. You work so hard. You get to where you want to get. And then it's not sustainable. So the whole thing is, how can I find a sustainable way to be at peace in my body, to have what I want, and then to have the energy, you know? What's the point of having a beautiful body if you feel fatigued inside? If you can't rest at night, what's the point of looking so beautiful? What's the point of having a beautiful mansion and there is not a single piece of furniture? There's no sign of life inside. It's lonely. There's nothing to sit on. There's nothing on the walls to look at. It's an empty shell of a home. That's the whole reason we partake in anything related to health, is to feel better, to have more spirit. Mitochondria, that process of energy production, both the glycolysis, the inefficient pathway, and the process that mitochondria do, it's called cellular respiration. It's where the Holy Spirit comes through our bodies and connects all trillions of cells. The Holy Spirit, spirit respiration, communicates. Mitochondria have their own DNA. They reflect onto the parental DNA that we've gotten. Based on our environment, we express those genes. And it's so beautiful. Spontaneous renaturing. That's what they call it in biochemistry. Spontaneous, it's a miracle. You are a miracle. Miracles happen all the time. A Course in Miracles says there is no miracle too big. All miracles are the same. Whether you find a penny on the ground or you win the lottery, it's all a miracle. Why materialism is baloney? Oh, so good. So good. Like, oh, I just want to I keep thinking, like, if this had a tiny room inside of it, I would move in right away. I want to live in this book because it was so good. It's one of those books where, like, when I immediately saw it on TikTok and I was so drawn to it. Some guy posted a video about it and I was like, oh my God, I have to read that book. I was so excited when it came in. I was flipping through it. I told my sister, I was like, this book is going to change my life. And it's not about material things. The material world is just a reflection of our internal state, as within, so without. That's what they say. And, you know, one of the main points of the book is how does what I see relate to who I am? And you're talking about, at the end of it, he's talking about consciousness and how science limits. And I love science. I love the cell. I love talking about nutrition. But how we view the body, like, you can put a brain cap on somebody and you can measure these brainwave states of somebody, which would be like their state of consciousness, and you still can't understand that person's direct experience of what happened. We can't, the mind, he says, like, the mind is not the body. The mind is not the brain. That's what's interesting about dementia, is that the brain, the body stays here, but the mind is elsewhere. Dementia is like kind of, you know, in a low-key way. Maybe he was writing about dementia too. Some of my favorite quotes: 2 empty mirrors facing themselves only reflect emptiness. And that's what I was talking about, writing stuff down. All this darkness is a part of me too, so what does it mean? You know, excavate, put it down on paper, look at it, laugh at it. It's humorous to think these things about ourselves. You know, where did these thoughts come from? What am I? What is going on? Our suffering is not redundant. It is part of what happens when we try to figure out what is going on, because we are what is going on. We are like a desperate physician performing exploratory surgery on himself without anesthesia to find out how his body works and then hopefully be able to master it. But the physician feels every slice of his scalpel and every pinch of his tweezers, and in his agony, his hands aren't steady, and he sometimes, maybe too many times, slices more than is needed. And that's so beautiful, because as I've been on this like mad scientist journey of trying to figure out everything that goes on in the body, I come back to the simplicity of exactly what this book says, and that is my thoughts and my direct experience, and me being connected with that is my connection to my health. Me being content with the present moment, knowing that there is a pattern beyond what I am sometimes directly able to see. There's a reason why we end up in all these places at the specific times, to meet specific people, we resonate with what we meet in the world, and we can change our resonance and our frequency. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. All phenomenon is suggesting something about the nature of mind. Everything that happens in our world is a suggestion, an abstract key, like our dreams. The earth speaks in symbols, and everything is so connected. There are no coincidences as long as we pay attention. Anyway, it's really beautiful. I wanted to bring up this. I was going through some of my books here, and I've been having some of these books for a really long time. And sometimes I stick things in the book, like I'll stick, if people give me like a birthday card, or you know, if they write me something, I'll stick it in the book that I'm reading at that particular time. And this old book that I had this pamphlet in it for Pityriasis rosea. Okay, guys, when I was in college, I'll never forget, I was in my anatomy class at LSU, and I really wanted to do well. I really didn't care about any of my other classes really, but I was really like, I wanted to do well in this anatomy class. It's the first time I've ever been introduced to anatomy, and so I was studying a lot, and my body broke out in this rash all over my front side, down my hips, on my back, a little bit on my arms, broke out in this rash, and I was scared, and I went to urgent care, and they were like, yeah, it's probably just due to stress, you know, and they gave me this pamphlet, they sent me home, and, you know, with time, within a few months, it went away. But I came across it as I was cleaning out some of these books, and it just reminded me of how stress and what we're thinking about influences our health, how we look at the world. That's why I've been talking a lot about like relationships that we hold with people. Some people subconsciously, all they can do is take, and some people fill you up. And right now, it's really important to be aware of not only the relationships that you hold with other people, because that's altering our gut bacteria, it's altering our biochemistry, it's altering the way that we express our health, but the habits that we have with ourselves too. All of our habits are relationships to things. Like if I have an addiction to something, I have built a relationship with that particular thing. It's a resonant energy. And the more that I partake in that frequency and resonance, the more that it will be feed and it will get stronger. And when I shift things, my whole energy, my biochemistry shifts, you know? So I was thinking about that. That happened to me a while ago, and I wanted to share that. It was really when I started to, I was starting, at that time in my life, I was starting to wake up to, I was starting to say no to things like randomly going out to eat, like, because I was starting to think a lot about, okay, not only am I saying yes to situations I'm saying no to, but also I'm spending my money that I'm working, like I'm in school, I'm working my tush off for this money, and I make this much amount of an hour, and then I go out to eat and I spend hours of my time, or I go out and I spend hours of my time. I'm like, is this what I want? I don't want this. And, you know, things find their way to expressing. You know, the body's always trying to tell us, hey, I need you to shift through symptoms, through fatigue. I need you to shift what you're doing, because what you're doing right now, if we continue to go on this route, I'm giving you these nice little knocks at the door, but one of these days I'm gonna slam that door in your face and it's gonna hurt. So change your habits now. And also, there's just so much power in asking your own body. Like, you can ask your own body, these trillions of cells, you say, what would be the best thing for me that I could do tomorrow? Like, how could I change my routine, the first few things that I'm doing, to change my whole day? And you may not get an immediate answer, but when you wake up in the morning, you'll just think of something that you would rather do instead of what you've been used to doing. The body is that intelligent. It will guide you. I believe that. So anyway, kiss your shadows, write down, use your cerebellum, use that memory center. Some people, there's this guy at LSU, when I was in school, he had no arms. He would carry a little drawstring backpack, and he did everything with his feet. He ate with his feet. Every time I'd see him around campus, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this person is, I can't believe I'm complaining about anything, because he's here, he's doing it, and he has no arms, and he's doing it. I felt so inspired by that guy. But if you have your arms and the ability to write, writing is so powerful. Putting your thoughts down on paper, physical form, is expression. And again, your shadows can't hide once you bring it into the light. So write everything down, and, you know, good luck. I do wish you the best of luck. It's a learning journey. It's a process. Okay, I'm gonna go. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll catch you next time.